What is up, everybody? Gary Simon here. So today we're going to be checking out a beta feature that's been out actually for a few months now, but it is called Interactive Components, and I'm going to show you how to build a navigation using the really improved component feature called Interactive Components. Now, before I show you what we're going to do, you can apply to be a part of this beta program, and the link is going to be here in the YouTube description. For me, it only took a few hours. For other people, I've given the link to my Discord server. It's been several days. They still haven't received anything yet. So give them up to a week. I think that's how long it can take. All right, so right here is the very simple navigation, and I'm going to show you how to create this. In the past, like if you're just using regular Figma, it would require a lot more work than what is achieved based on what we made here. So this is what the interactive components look like over here. These are different button states, like for default, hover, active, and active hovered. And it's just really easy. We've put them into auto layouts here, so we can move these things all around. Shoot, we can even move this over here and all that good stuff. And it's really flexible and dynamic. So as always, if you haven't yet, subscribe and let's get started. Now wait 1 second, I'm about to teach you some Figma and UI design, but if you're new to UI UX design, you should definitely check out my UI Design Bootcamp at scrimba.com. At Scrimba, you don't just watch videos. No, you're actually able to modify code in the browser while you learn. My course on UI design features over 100 lessons that are specifically tailored to help you become an awesome UI designer, and they're packed with interactive challenges. So while you're about to learn some new features of Figma, you're never going to be a great designer unless you have good UI design fundamentals. And that's exactly what you're going to get with my UI Design Bootcamp. So in the talk link in the description here on YouTube, make sure you click it. You'll be able to access my bootcamp along with many other courses for a very low monthly fee. All right, here I am in Figma. This is just a brand new document. I've changed the canvas background here. And let's get started. So for the fill, I think we're just gonna do something different this time. I'm gonna go into like a blue hue, maybe right around there. I like that. All right, so the one thing that I'm gonna get in the habit and advocate others getting in the habit of doing is just instead of just specifying your colors right here and leaving it at that, go ahead and click on this color styles button, add it, we'll call this background, and then that way we can easily change these if we have multiple artboards and all that good stuff. All right, so the first thing I'll do is I'm gonna have this encased inside of a container. Navigations don't always have to be encased in some sort of discernible container, but I'm just choosing to do that for the heck of it. Let's make it like this thick or so, and we'll make it white, and then we will, add it. I'm gonna do that a million times. I'm always clicking the add button. It's kind of confusing. I think they should change that a little bit. We'll just call this white background. Or panel background. All right, so create that style, and let's just make this pill a pill shape. There we go. All right, so let's get this evened up, and we'll have it up top right there. Okay, so we're gonna have a brand, you know, the logo. So let's just put that real quick. Company Co. For this, I'm going to choose to be different. I'm not going to choose Poppins or Montserrat. I'm going to use Bebas Kai. All right, just a bold condensed font, and that will work pretty well right there. It's a size of 21. So I think that'll be fine. We'll duplicate this. Now we're going to work on the actual menu. So for this, what I like to do first is just to try to get a basic idea of what the menu will look like. I'll replicate a few nav items or links, so to speak, and just see what it looks like, and then we'll get into the fun feature stuff. Now usually I kind of like to drop down the size of the actual links compared to like the logo, just to establish a little bit of a visual hierarchy there. You don't necessarily have to do that, but that's what I'm choosing to do here, and I think that works well. Another thing that we can also do, make sure, by the way, you use your guides and make sure everything is lined up in the actual center. I'm not getting a center one for this one. And another thing that we can do is Shift R rulers. Let's get those down. That can help as well for alignment, for the purpose of alignment. So we have this here. I want the color not to be black. Instead, what we'll do is we'll take the eyedropper, we'll get the background, and then we'll just drop it down. And then one thing you need to get in the habit of doing, just to make sure you're covering your accessibility guidelines, go ahead, select both of these, right-click, plugins, and Stark. Stark is a plugin that you can, it's a free plugin. It has like a paid version that you can use. Too many layers selected. Try directly selecting 2 layers. What's happening here? Oh, I guess when I right-clicked outside of there we go. Plugins, Stark contrast, check contrast, 6.85. We can even go a little bit lower than this because I do want to have like a hover state. So we can go like right there. 5. Okay, that's good right there. All right, great. So now what I'm thinking about doing is just having like, what we can do, by the way, is take this all the way to the very top and bottom. We want to make sure those match up. So now those are the very top and bottom. And of course, this needs to be center there on a line middle. And we can duplicate this just a few times just to get an idea of what it might look like. So this will be like a home. And we want to center that. Here, I'll just duplicate from that point on. And this might be products. And so once you get an idea of like what you want the nav to look like and you're happy with it, with the buttons themselves, you can go ahead and delete the other ones. And another thing I do want to do is add a container, although initially we won't see it, but we will see it on the hover state. So we want to make sure that it aligns to the top and bottom portions right there. All right, and then we'll leave it with a fill temporarily. We're going to take both of these elements, so shift and then left click, right click. We're going to choose, before we do that though, let's check to see what, or how this is aligned rather. So for instance, if I take this all the way in and we hold Alt, we could see that it's 18 pixels away from here versus 20 over here. So now 19 and 19. All right, that's looking good. So now we'll just take these. We're going to right click and we'll choose Add Auto Layout. You can see it may adjust things here slightly. And let's also adjust this. If we come out here to Auto Layout, put 0 there and 0 there. There we go. All right, so now it's on Auto Layout, and what we can do is right click, create component, and then we're going to create a variant out of it. So we come over here and click plus on variants. All right, so now we can have a variation of this, and there have to be components first in order to give you access to that variance property. So at the component level, they're just reusable elements, and at the variant level, we can have what are called interactive components, and we'll see, you can see how this works now. So by default, we don't want a hover state here. What we want is it just to be, we're gonna double click in here, and then we'll click the background and we'll just get rid of that right there. So this right here is our default state. Notice where it says variants, property 1, default. We can name this whatever we want, but default works fine for me. And then next one, I want it to be a hover state. So we'll change variant 2 to hover. All right, and then we can prototype this. So now we just drag this over here, and then this is on click. Now on click is a part of the new beta feature for interactive components. All right, no, it's not. I'm sorry, change to. On click's been there forever. We want this to be while hovering, and change to is the one that's new. And we want to change to this right here while it's hovering. So if you want it back onto your frame here, we go to assets, we drag it over, and then we place it there. Now we can duplicate this, holding shift and just moving over. Now let's select both of them and create another auto layout, add auto layout, and I'll show you how that's handy. So what we can do is just change this to like products. Oops. So what we want to do when that issue happens, we just have to come over here to our frame, double click into this type layer, and we want to change this right here to auto width. Then what we can do is come and select the actual component itself. Come over here and just choose to align this here right to the middle. All right, so now we come back, we'll see that these are now working as such. All right, so home products, we'll duplicate this again. We're gonna have like a FAQ, frequently asked questions, and then maybe like a contact. All right, so what's cool is, well, now we should be able to play this and, notice what happened. That's because we didn't set it up originally and we didn't make those fixes over here. And of course that hover color looks horrible, so stick with me. So what do we do to fix that? All right, we're gonna come in here, we're going to click this button, and then we're going to click back into the component over here and center it. All right, great. Now, if you want to design for this, because it's kind of hard to see, to choose your colors correctly for the hover state, we can just double click here and change it to the hover state. And then that way we can take a look at this, double click this and get to the background and then change our fill based on what we want to use. So we could come over here, we can grab this background color and then maybe come up and just make it maybe right around there. And of course we'll want to add this, so we'll call this hover background. All right, and there we go. So now we'll change this back to default, come back over here, and there we go. Works perfectly. So we're not done yet. We can also have a currently the current active page, which is a good UX accessibility practice. So like the home, like what's this? No, let's say the products page is the current page we're designing for. So what we can do now is create another variant, duplicate that, and this time I think what we'll do is simply, we'll just make it like a vibrant blue color. So the panel, we'll just go ahead and get rid of that fill, and then we'll double click into here, and then we will detach that so that we can access the color picker. And then we will then, again, add this here. We'll just call this the primary color. We will click it, add it, name it active, or you can name it current page or something like that. And then we can change products to current, or active rather. So let's see what that looks like in prototype. All right, notice it doesn't hover though. That's because nothing is here for this. So we could create a separate hover instance as well for the active page. So to do that, what we'll do is just take, what is this, hover background? Okay, so we'll come over here, change this to hover background, but also double click into here and change this to the primary color. So then we come to prototype mode over here. This is going to be while hovering, and we named this is variant 4. This should probably be renamed to something that makes more sense. So I will say active hover. All right, let's see if it works. Oh, I'm an idiot. We have to double click into here. I don't know why. I thought this got changed. We got to add the fill, duh. And then we'll change this to the hover background. Wait a second, maybe that's not it. No, that's not it. I thought we added that. Panel background and then background. What is this? Oh, I didn't add that. Stupid me. So we got to do hover, let's see, hover link background. I add that first though. There we go. So now we come down here. This will be hover link background. All right, let's try and see if that works. There we go. Look at that. So now what we can do to make our life a little bit easier, so this is an auto layout. We can move things around, very cool. And then we can even take it a step further, take these two elements, make an auto layout out of them. And then of course, if you do this, bring that down and now it's centered, we can optionally move things around like over here. And there you go. So that right there is how you would use interactive components to create a navigation. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that. You learned something new. Of course, they're going to be ironing out. There's some issues with interactive components, such as like if you took our result and you put it into its own component, the hover states and all that stuff no longer work. So I'm assuming they're still trying to iron out those details, and hopefully it'll be out of beta and a part of the official Figma version very soon. All right, everybody, make sure to check out DesignCourse.com. It's launching soon, and I'll see you real soon. Goodbye.